Hello everyone. This quick video is in regards to a really stupid article at Vice.com that I received today and I read and I just ended up shaking my head at. At Vice.com, an article was written by Sarah Ratchford entitled Canada's First Twitter Harassment Trial Sets a Scary Precedent for Women. So again, if you haven't seen my last video, this is in regards to the Twitter case trial with Gregory Allen Elliott. He was found not guilty, obviously, for not insinuating sexual harassment or physical harm to Miss Guthrie and Miss Riley, two Toronto feminists who wanted to censor his freedom of speech, all because he disagreed with their politics. So Ms. Sarah Ratchford here wrote an article about how how a step backward it has become for women on the internet to not feel harassed and how they feel unsafe. Now, the thing with freedom of speech is in Canada, everyone has a voice. Everyone has this freedom. And yet, these two feminists wanted to censor a man for disagreeing with them. And it is journalists such as Miss Ratchford here who thinks that, that it's okay to censor certain types of speech and to protect women from ever feeling unsafe, sad, afraid. And so here we have more and more articles, more and more social media who's trying to fabricate the narrative that women can't handle the internet, that they are fragile little flowers who can't handle little tweets. While in other parts of the world, women are being stoned to death. Or in other parts of the world, women are being treated as second-class citizens, attacked on the streets, assaulted by men who uphold a religion that treats them as sexual objects. But no, Miss Guthrie and Miss Riley here, well, they have it harder than those women. Because a man disagreed with their politics. And he dared to poke fun at them. And then they blocked him. And then they harassed him back. But they seem to think that they are the leading authority on freedom of speech. Now I'm going to provide a link to this article here in my video. Give it a read. And if there's any of you who has a sane mind and understands what freedom of speech entails, I think you will see it from my point of view and from other people's points of views that feminism is insane. It's getting utterly ridiculous at this point. And Canada is supposed to be one of the leading top countries, But here we're going backwards instead of progressing as it should be. So this is my response. I actually left a comment on the website itself, and this is directed to Miss Sarah Ratchford in regards to your article. Here's my response. Let me drill it into your head here. Freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. This means anyone on the internet or the real world has the right to say what they want to, promote what they believe in, and engage in discussions with others who share this same right. Sometimes you find people who agree with you, and sometimes you get people who disagree with you. Miss Guthrie and Miss Riley here are talking about shutting down Mr. Elliott's freedom of speech, all because he disagreed with their politics. So his right to free speech is being censored while they have the freedom to speak their minds? That is simply not equality. Women are not victims of the internet. If one is feeling harassed, they have individual power to block, delete, or ignore. These are strangers on the internet, after all, and if they don't physically threaten them in real life, which Mr. Elliott did not, according to the evidence, then these women have the power to take control, which they did. They blocked him, but instead of moving on from that, they still engaged with Mr. Elliott by bringing up topics about him and getting their friends and followers to harass him back. So here, feminists took action, all right. They harassed him just as much, if not more, than Mr. Elliott did to them. See, feminists are not getting it that you are not the authority of everything, okay? You don't get to censor freedom of speech because someone might make you feel endangered. If you feel that way, that is on you. They are your feelings after all. I mean, no man owns your feelings, ladies. Not a single one. So what makes you think women own the feelings of men or other women, for that matter? Victim blaming? Really? Because as far as I know, Mr. Elliott is the bigger victim here, as he was denied access to internet for 3 years, having to now pay for court costs with the possibility of facing 6 months of jail time. And not only was he affected, but his family and friends were. All for disagreeing with a feminist. Give your head a shake, please. If women are all fragile little flowers, which you seem to think they are, you pigeonhole all women as weak and all men as oppressors. Men suffer higher amounts of violent threats and harassment online than do women. Women tend to get more sexual harassment and cyber stalking more than men. This is true. But this just shows that there is different types of harassment for different groups of people. But men deal with it more. It is clear that Mr. Elliott suffered more since Ms. Guthrie sent cyber mobs against him. I'll finish this off for you since it's not getting through to your brain. Everyone has the right to freedom of speech. Every man, woman, and child. And if you start censoring specific people's rights to speech, then you've now changed our egalitarian society to an authoritarian one. Instead of doing this thing, right, and creating more problems than necessary, there's only one way around online harassment, and it's this. It's called growing a fucking spine and deal with it. Get over yourself, please. Let's empower women instead of patronizing them and treating them as little girls who can't handle words on the internet. Get over yourself. So there's my response. I got fed up with this whole thing. Freedom of speech trumps your feelings, feminists, any day of the week, ever. Like, fuck. Canada used to be a very good country, and now it's just going to the dogs. So any woman who doesn't identify with feminism, I hope that you know how to deal with online harassment and you can tell the difference between real harassment and physical threats to your being and your feelings, because they are not the same thing. And if there's any feminists who are watching this video, we are trying to empower women, but the only ones who are stopping that from happening are you, feminists. Because your feminism ideology follows a victimhood narrative where all men are oppressors, all men are dominating, all men are rapists, and women are just the victims of it. Yeah. So it's on you, feminist ladies, to deal with it. They are your feelings. Deal with it. Because I'm getting sick and tired of hearing about you bitching and moaning about tweets on the internet. Take care of each other. Have a good one, guys.